r/ask Reddit. What's cool now, but probably won't be in 5 years? A lot of the stuff I see people doing on TikTok seems like the kind of thing you'd be embarrassed about in a few years. Honestly, I am embarrassed about pretty much everything I did at that age. Edit. You will never know what I said to earn 4 trophies. Probably most popular YouTubers as of now. I thought Ray William Johnson and Smosh would rule for the next 10 years in 2011. You might be right. Smosh. Now there's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Greenland. Bravo. Greenland has no ice. I think that's just a new climate. GTA V. Hopefully by that point we'll actually have GTA 6. Edit. Jesus Christ, thank you for all the awards and likes. I wasn't expecting this sort of response. Did you say another GTA Online DLC? First GTA V and now RDR2. It sucks that Rockstar has completely given up on single player DLC. I wish they would at least announce that they're not doing it anymore so that we don't spend months halfway anticipating it. My toddler willingly giving me kisses. Father on 13 and 11. Why? Oh. Boys here, if frequent physical affection is a normal part of your dynamic now, that hopefully won't change too much. In front of their friends my existence is a horrifying embarrassment. At home I get hug attacks all the time. Late 20s guy here and I can confirm. My dad was always affectionate towards my brother and I'd say I dared to hug my dad in front of my friends who knew me, but in public we both opt for a fist bump. When I was 18/19 my dad told me he was happy that I still hugged him, which reminded me that I've ever only seen him shake his own father's hand. Broke my heart, and I internally vowed to give him bear hugs for the rest of our lives. I love my dad, and it's important to me that he knows it. Edit. I've seen a lot of comments from people who are, or have been, in my dad's position. It sounds really cliche, but be the love you want to see in the world. Social and emotional barriers can feel insurmountable in the moment, but in the hindsight they feel petty and foolish. Cherish your loved ones while you can still do it with them. Current plastic surgery trends to meet the current IG standards. I fear for a lot of people who have had BBLs and facial surgery that the look will become outdated and permanently associated with late 2010s and early 2020s. Kind of how like there are plastic surgery trends associated with the 90s 2000s. What trends associated with the 90s 2000s? Lots of women had skinny eyebrows tattooed on their faces, tattoo lip liner, overly processed bleached hair and oddly large implants. Those things are pretty tough to reverse. Hopefully the stupid hacks that people are coming up with. That's not a hack. Stfu. Step 1. Get some cement. Step 2. Find an old refrigerator box. Subscribing to multiple streaming platforms. Isn't that why cable doesn't exist anymore? Edit. Yes, I know it works out cheaper now. In 2024, computers, tablets and phones will be part of the broadcast license fees that we will have to pay in Ireland. So, that will cost me an extra €160 plus subscription to platforms. Cable 2. I have always said this is what's gonna happen. Streaming will continue becoming more and more massive, until they all start buying each other out, leaving us with one. The next cable, but it's through the internet instead of cable. Brazilian butt lifts. I feel like it will not age well. A lot of plastic surgeries collapse over time or have complications as it degrades. Edited. Repetitive. TikTok. 5 years ago, we would have said Vine, whose death spawned what TikTok is now. So by 2026, there will be a successor to TikTok and all its future teenage socialites. Or it'll be like MySpace and Facebook and TikTok is the lasting one. Hopefully Facebook. I never thought it would kill MySpace, and MySpace reminds me of better times when I think of how shitty Facebook handled the last 4 years. Yay duck Facebook. MySpace was hilarious. Hey, here are 8 people I like better than you. Enjoy this Hawthorne Heights song on repeat. Maybe Ohio really is for lovers. Daenerys and Khaleesi as girls' names. Is this really a thing? Probably not as popular as Arya and Sansa, but there are a few thousand little girls whose parents may be considering a name change. The beer in my fridge. Oh yes. I read that drinking a beer shortens your lifespan by 9 minutes. According to my calculations, I died sometime in 1829. Teenage boys getting the perm undercut combo. Broccoli boy cut. Every guy at my high school had that cut. I hated it, and every girl loved it for some reason. That was last year, during my senior year. Humongous butt injections. OMG yes. When I see pics of Kim Kardashian, it literally looks like a human wearing saddlebags. Yes, I know saddlebags are a pejorative term for bad thighs, but she is something else. I read a comment elsewhere that said she was built like a centaur, and it's all I think of when I see or hear about her. Hopefully Pokemon cards, so I can finally afford to buy them again. Having the COVID vaccine. Eventually it'll be as commonplace as a flu vaccine. I'd rather it was as popular as the polio vaccine, so it can just duck and die already. My dad got polio the year the vaccine was invented. I'm so happy it's no longer a thing. People posting pictures of a PS5 they just bought and expecting the rest of us to care. And switches on r/gaming. My wife's a keeper. My wife's boyfriend bought me this. Edit. I don't use r/Wall Street, but you people are ducking nuts. Instagram is going to be an online shopping mall, far removed from the cool microblogging site it used to be. It's kinda crazy how obvious it is. Like I try to go on Instagram and within 5 posts it's already all ads. Corporations trying to be weird and relatable on Twitter. Wish it would die out now. Our Twitter, where people try to be brands and brands try to be people. That should be the quote of the year. Needs to hang on a wall somewhere. Probably not going to happen, but I really wish influencers won't be cool anymore. It is just how we brand the famous. The Kardashian family were still influencers before the word. Remember Paris Hilton having her own thing? That was well before we even thought to define influencer culture. It just is rough now because it seems slightly attainable by the average Joe. Zoom calls. I don't wanna go back to the office, but I can't take 5 more years of these. As much as I don't like video conferencing, it was way better than just phone conferencing. People always talking over everyone since you don't see the person's facial cue. Joke's on you. Still happens in video conference calls at my company because we're all nerds and hate showing our face if we don't have to. Lip injections and butt implants. They look cartoonish. Edit. Was not expecting this kind of response. RIP inbox. Putting images everywhere, especially if you're brand trying to do buddy marketing. I received a resume that was written like that. Lab coat, write, pencil, scientific, DNA, papers like this. 5-day work week. That's never been cool, we just accept it. Let's start by touching on the 7-day week. Thousands of years ago, the Babylonians believed 7 planets existed. To honor that, they created the 7-day week. Back then, working all 7 days was thought to increase productivity. By the summer of 1886, workers were fed up with the status quo. No surprise there. Sunday funday can't be a thing if you have to work. The U.S. Federation of Organized Trades and Labor Unions called for 8-hour work days, and when that deadline wasn't met, protesters took to the streets. What started as peaceful demonstrations on the streets of Chicago turned into violent rallies, leaving 7 police officers and 4 workers dead. Those rallies put the 8-hour day, 40-hour work week issue on the map both nationally and internationally. In 1916, the feds passed an act which required an 8-hour day and OT. Despite the new rule, plenty of workers were still unprotected. In 1919, 4 million workers decided they were fed up and went on strike. That was 20% of the industrial labor force at the time. About 19 years later, President FDR signed the Fair Labor Standards Act of 1938, creating the right to a minimum wage and OT. Now things are starting to sound familiar. Roosevelt wasn't the first person to institute the 5-day work week in the US, though. The Ford Motor Company is well known for scaling back from 48 hours per week to 40 in 1914. Thanks to Henry Ford, and even earlier, 1908 to be exact. A New England cotton mill set up the same schedule, allowing its Jewish workers to observe Sabbath on Saturday and Christian workers their day on Sunday. Economist John Maynard Keynes predicted in 1928 that technological advancement would bring the work week down to 15 hours within 100 years. Looks like we still have about 10 years to get there. 5-day work week should be gone by now. Galaxy print is probably going to go the way of the bowling alley carpet patterns we used to wear on our clothes in the 90s. It'll come back ironically in 10 years. Edit. Alright guys, I get it. It's been out of style for a while. What you guys don't seem to agree on was when it went out. As an astronomy teacher who has been delighted by this trend and buying a couple things in that print, I hope I can still find it 5 years from now. I can't wait to see a ton of people walking around looking like they are wearing bus seat covers. Among Us. It already is almost dead. I have seen the word Among Us too much and now Among Us looks wrong. Fake vents in cars. If they were ever cool in the first place. They never have been cool. In fact, reviewers hate them and that's what they point out in reviews. Overly processed Instagram photos, especially in the context of makeup and skincare. But people have been doing this since the MySpace era. A lot longer than that. Models have been airbrushed and touched up as long as there has been photography. I remember soft focus glamour shots being a thing in the 90s. Clothes of any kind reject humanity, return to monk. Oh boy, here I go killing kids again so I can mate with their mother. Funko Pops. They're the Beanie Babies of the 20s. Everything Supreme. The shitty print text hoodies. The overpriced hats and $100 shirts. All of it. They've recently been purchased by VF Corporation, the company that owns North Face, Vans, Timberlands, and JanSport, so they're likely not going anywhere. The latest iPhone. Honestly, iPhones after a couple years became even better due to no longer having ridiculous prices. I feel like people stopped caring about that a while ago, at least in my circles. People stopped caring by the iPhone 8. You just get the latest iPhone if your current one is slow, having issues. That being said, I don't see iPhone's prevalence in the US going away. That stupid yee ass haircut that all the teenage boys are rocking. The one with the short sides and mop top rat's nest on top. I thought that was called the Meet Me at McDonald's. Half the fashion trends going on right now. I just see all these celebrities with super long nails, giant sunglasses, and outfits with really weird patterns, fabrics, and cutouts. And I know that one day we will look back on them and say, how did anyone ever think that looked good? And then those trends will be back in style in 2040. Mark my words. We look back on the 2000s and say, wow, low-rise jeans, gross, but they're on their way back into style. Just you wait. Rule of 20. Soon everyone will have their thongs peeking out of their pants again. I promise you. In a weird way, I'm looking forward for the late 2000s early 2010s pop culture to be brought back by the kids. It would be very amusing to see those swag glasses and Cookie Monster hats and scene kid haircuts be iconized like 80s and 90s fashion has been. The bowl cut. For some reason it came back in South Houston. Looks ridiculous. Life hacks. Since they have taken over YouTube, it just will be bland after amount of time because a lot of it is just BS and many just don't work now. I've seen so many stupid harmful things they are doing, like put your tin foil in a ball and put it in a microwave to make a Smoth ball. Yay, like that crap. Edit. Thank you, this is my first ever real good comment as I'm not so good with jokes or commenting. Also, the tin foil thing was a joke and still if someone were to do it, bad things would happen. But thank you for pointing it out. Stupid vids on it, like the ones where they think having their fourth kid matters to the world and exploit the kid on day one of its life, all while being fake AF. Colored bangs. And here I am, getting ready to color my bangs. Hey, don't you worry about 5 years time. If you want to do it, do it. Let future you worry about the fringe cringe photos. YouTube prank videos, well, some YouTube videos in general. Momgeens. This is the answer I came to say. I just don't get it. My 12-year-old loves them though. She is in that insecure phase in her life, changing body etc. But she puts on her mom jeans and she is a whole new person. She even takes off the XXL sweater and will wear a t-shirt around. Her confidence soars in the mom genes. I don't understand it, but it's awesome to see her feel so good. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.